Abraham Lincoln has always been regarded as a major important figure within the history of the United States. He gave an answer to the issue of slavery when nobody else could. People of the United States remember Lincoln as the preserver of the Union during the Civil War and the bringing of the emancipation of slaves. But there's more to his story than his term in office. Let me take you back to the year 1809, and I will open your eyes to the other side of his life that history has skipped over. Abraham Lincoln was born in a log cabin on February 12, 1809 in Hodgenville, Kentucky. He was the son of Thomas and Nancy Hanks Lincoln and a brother to his older sister Sarah and his deceased baby brother Thomas. Lincoln's childhood was rough, to say the least. At the age of 9, Lincoln's mother Nancy died on October 5, 1818, of trematol at age 34. This event caused a chain reaction of events leading up to the decaying of his relationship with his father, and eventually the woman known as Sarah Bush Johnston, who would shape Lincoln's like for reading and literature in a huge way. It was growing into manhood that he received this education. Soon, he became known as the boy who would walk miles and miles to borrow a book. In 1830, his father moved the family again to Coles Country. Abe, being a bright, smart, healthy 22-year-old man, took this as an opportunity. He became more independent and made a living for his own by working hard labor jobs. He was quite known for his skill in welding an axe. Eventually, he took on the job as a shopkeeper, postmaster, and eventually the general store owner in New Salem, Illinois. But with the outbreak of the Black Hawk War in 1832 between the U.S. and the Native Americans began, Lincoln's role in society would change dramatically. The volunteers of the area all elected Lincoln to be their war captain. In 1834, Lincoln would be elected into the Illinois State Legislature as a member of the Whig Party. However, this would only prove to be temporary for him as he decided to take on the career of being a lawyer, and in 1837 moved to Springfield, Illinois to practice the works in the John T. Stewart law firm. Following his move, he began a relationship with Anne Rutledge. Even though marriage was both of their intentions, it was not to be. A swarm of typhoid fever just swept through New Salem and Anne passed away at 22 years old. Lincoln made a good living in the early years of law, but found serving in the court would be a boost to his income. At first, however, his views of the Mexican-American War gave him less a popular title back home. Lincoln would return to national politics with the pressure of his political rival Stephen Douglas. Stephen Douglas went all the way to push the Kansas-Nebraska Act into action, and eventually it was passed in 1854. The act declared that it was in the power of the voters of every state to determine whether slavery should be legal within their state. On October 16, 1854, Lincoln spoke in front of a large group in Peoria. He criticized and denounced slavery and its extension and referred to the Declaration of Independence in saying that slavery was a violation of human rights. Eventually, in a series of debates between Stephen Douglas, Lincoln won against Douglas, Breckinridge, and Bell, surpassing 212 of 240 votes. He chose a strong group of members of his cabinet, and eventually his cabinet became the most powerful voice in his administration. He selected many of his political rivals, including William Stewart, Salmon P. Chase, Edward Bates, and Edwin Stanton. On April 12, 1861, the weapons set up to preserve the harbor sparked towards the beginning of America's deadliest and coldest war, a war that would cost the lives of approximately 700,000 American lives. On January 1, 1863, Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation. This was in regard to all rebellious states, saying that those enslaved for those states henceforth shall be free. General Robert E. Lee surrendered all of his forces to Ulysses S. Grant on April 9, 1865, ending in tensions and all other aspects related to the Civil War. On the night of April 14, 1865, the actor John Wilkes Booth shot and assassinated our beloved president, thus killing him and his intentions he had set out for Reconstruction. From there, he was transported to the Peterson House in Washington, D.C., but the efforts could not stop the slow death of our beloved president. With malice towards none, with charity for all.